Hi, parents. I want to welcome you to Virtual Parent Information Night. Thank you all for taking the time to watch this video to learn a little bit about our first grade class. All right. So you can, if you ever need to get in contact with me, you can email me at lindsay.knowlting@windsorcharteracademy.org. And there's just a little picture of your first graders from the first full week of class where they were working on a cute little project where they were making elephants based on the book Elmer that we read together in class. Just a little bit about me. This is my 10th year as a first grade teacher. It's my 4th year as a first grade teacher at Windsor Charter Academy. I stayed at home for 6 years with my 2 boys. I have a 2nd grader named Reed and a 7th grader named Jackson. I got to be a stay-at-home mom, and when it was time for me to go back to school, I knew there was no place that I wanted to be except for WCA. I'm a graduate of CU Boulder, and I make it through the day with a lot of coffee and chocolate. All right. So you might have heard before that our school is an AVID elementary school. And what that means is that we are a school that prioritizes career readiness. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And basically what that means is we just incorporate different strategies into our learning each day. Um, you might hear a teacher talking about Wicker. And so I just wanted to break Wicker down for you so that you know the W in Wicker stands for writing. The I stands for inquiry. The C stands for collaboration. O stands for organization, and R stands for reading to learn. And so in any given lesson, when you walk into our classroom, you will see most or all of those Wicker parts included in each lesson that we do. So even if we're reading or we're working in math or in core, I always have the students writing to explain their thinking, asking questions. They're collaborating to share answers and thoughts and ideas. Um, we're always having the students read. And then we teach them different strategies for organizing their thoughts. So in first grade, that may look like taking notes or making a T-chart or something along those lines. But it also comes into play with the students and the colored folders that they use to keep their desks organized and the book box that they use to keep different books in. And so we're really trying to teach even our first graders at a young age how important it is to be organized with your learning materials. You might have the opportunity to order an AVID t-shirt. And a couple times throughout the year, you will see that we have AVID t-shirt days. And so now you know why. It's because we are an AVID elementary. We are also a core knowledge school. And so that is really fun, especially with science and social studies. And so the science units that we learn in first grade are awesome and really hands-on. And so are the social studies units for that matter. In science, we learn about the human body, and what that means is basically the body system. So just real generally that everybody has a body, and that within that body we have different systems like the skeletal system, the nervous system, the digestive system, the circulatory system. And so the students get just kind of a broad understanding of the body systems in first grade. We learn about the 3 states of matter in first grade and how atoms work within the states of matter. We take a look inside the earth at rocks and minerals and volcanoes. That's really fun for the students because we do some hands-on projects that involve cooking in the classroom. Electricity is a lot of fun. The students learn about conductors and how a circuit, or conductors and insulators, I'm sorry, within a circuit. And that when a circuit is closed, the current of electricity can flow through and a light bulb will work. But as soon as that circuit opens up, the current cannot flow anymore and that a light bulb does not work. And then at the end of the year, we learn about astronomy. So just a general understanding of planets and stars and the moon phases. And I plan on having the students do some research on picking a particular planet and using their iPad to research that planet and present what they're learning to the rest of their class. So I think they'll really enjoy that. In social studies, we learn about geography, and actually we're doing this right now. The students are learning about maps and where they are in a map. They're going to be learning a little more about continents and where those continents are in the world and the oceans. I am so continuing their learning from kindergarten about continents. We learn about the cradle of civilization with Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt, early American civilizations such as the Mayas, Incas, and Aztecs. The students have a lot of fun learning about Mexico. We learn about the American Revolution. And then we wrap up the year with living things and their habitats. And that's really fun because the students will each pick an animal and do some research on that animal and that animal's habitat. And if all goes according to plan this year, we hope to have a living animal wax museum where the student would actually have a little costume or outfit to represent the animal that they researched and write a research report that they will then present to the rest of the class. So you can see how just based on our core knowledge sequence, how in-depth it is. It's the students' favorite part of the day. It's a really hands-on, wonderful time. And next week, I'm excited for the students to use salt dough to model different landforms within our geography unit. At Windsor Charter Academy, you may already know that we use the 8 keys of excellence to reinforce positive behavior and to teach students how to be good citizens in the classroom and in our world. I know I have flexibility on there twice. I'm really sorry. I should have gone through and fixed that, but I just realized it. We talk about the 8 keys of excellence constantly, and the students who demonstrate 8 keys of excellence in the classroom or in the hallway have the opportunity to earn keynotes. Keynotes are a school-wide management system of just reinforcing that positive behavior. And every week we draw keynotes, and students can earn key necklaces. So if their keynote was drawn, they'll get a special little necklace that has a key on it. And then students can start adding keys to their necklace based on how many keynotes they've had drawn. So it's just a really fun way for students in the building to show that they're following the 8 keys of excellence. I really work hard in my classroom to instill just a positive community feel, and I want us to be like a family, and I really want the kids to know that I'm recognizing them for the positive things that they do. And in our class, we are the rock stars, and so I just incorporate the rock star theme with my classroom management system. So students in our class sit at table groups, and so when they clean up on time or when they're working hard or demonstrating the 8 keys of excellence and positive behavior, table groups can earn Rockstar points. At the end of the week on Friday, the table group who has the most Rockstar points is the Rockstar table. And that's really fun because all the students at the Rockstar table have the ability to wear sunglasses in class. They can write with a sparkle pen, and they get to wear a special lanyard that has a VIP badge on it. So it just sets them apart from the rest of the class for that day. And the kids really like to work for those things. Don't worry, this year with COVID, I am sanitizing the sunglasses and the badges and the markers and things like that after each Friday so that they are clean and ready to go for the following week. I will be starting the rock star of the day, which is basically just somebody who I pick who was doing a great job showing the 8 keys of excellence, or I noticed maybe turned around their behavior or worked really hard on a particular project. And so I like to highlight 2 kids a day as the rock star of the day. And the rock star of the day just gets to wear some rock star sunglasses in class, which also were cleaned at the end of every day. And I plan on starting the rock star of the day the next couple weeks. Every kid will get a turn once before I select, before they get second turns. And so I really work to be fair with students and their opportunities to be Rockstar of the Day. This year, I am not doing a clip chart. You may remember from kindergarten that your kid would come home and say, hey, I was on outstanding today, or I was on the color pink today. That means I did a really great job. Or I was on green today. I stayed on great, and that means they did great. But if they clipped down on the clip chart, that meant that maybe they were having a rough time. And I've thought a lot over the summer about that clip chart and how I really didn't like the idea of kids keeping their clips together or moving back to the clip chart in groups to move their clips up or down. And so I thought, how am I going to reinforce positive classroom, behavior in a different way? And so I just decided to do a bravery and smart thinking marble jar. And I am the one who puts marbles in our little marble jar, and individual students can earn marbles for the jar by being brave. And so in first grade, that really looks like when you're called on, are you able to answer a question in front of the class, or can you get up in front of the class and explain your thinking? A lot of students have a hard time doing that, and that makes them very nervous. And so I like to reward them for being brave by making sure that the whole class knows that they, in particular, earned a marble for our jar. Or if there's, smart thinking by following directions, those kinds of things. So for example, today I walked around and called out certain students who were earning marbles for our jar because I noticed that they had their names on their paper. So things like that. So I just noticed the kids sit up a little bit taller when they know that they got to add a marble to our jar. Or even if they're sitting together as a whole group really quietly, then the whole class can earn a marble for the jar. They seem to really be responding well to the bravery and smart thinking marble jar. And so far, I'm liking it a lot more than the clip chart, so that's great. I talked a little bit about keynotes above, but I am handing out keynotes for the students as I notice them displaying the 8 keys of excellence. I'm sure one thing parents are wondering about is, well, how do I know if my student had a hard time or a hard day if they don't clip down on the clip chart? And I would expect to reach out to you in person if your student has been having a hard time or having a hard day, or if I feel like something extra is needed in class for your particular student. So maybe that may look like putting a little sticker chart on your particular child's desk just to let them know when they're doing a good job. Or it might even look like a behavior plan if a student is really struggling to follow the classroom rules and the 8 keys of excellence. We might need to go in the route of a behavior plan. So there are things that we can do to help students who are struggling, and always know that I would reach out to you before something like that was put into place. All right, let's move on and talk about our spelling tests and then Rocket Math. So every Friday, the first graders take a spelling test. On Mondays, you get the spelling words home on their planner, and there are 10 spelling words, and the 10 spelling words come from our phonics pattern for the week. And students are really practicing those spelling words during our phonics lessons, and then later on in the afternoon, they're working on word work and sorting those words and writing those words. And so they get 2 opportunities during the day to practice those spelling words. Every week, your child will also come home with some high frequency words. The idea is for your student to be practicing those high frequency words all week. So they practice them in class twice a day with their spelling words, but also practicing those words at home. And then every week on the spelling test, I'm just going to choose 2 of the words. So they're the 2 bonus words, and you'll never know what they're going to be. I want you to have your student practice all the words, but only 2 will go on the test. And so on the test, the high frequency words are going to be considered bonus words. So if you look at the sample spelling test there, you will see that at the top, under where it says spelling test, you can see how the test was graded. The bottom number is out of 10. So really, a spelling test is just graded out of the 10 actual spelling words. And then there's the potential for a student to earn those bonus points. So in this particular case, you can see that this student got a 12 out of 10 because this grade includes the bonus words. As we know, a spelling test is not a true indicator of how students really internalize a spelling pattern as a writer. And so we do have a sentence of dictation that is a surprise every week as part of the spelling test. And usually that sentence is about 5 to 7 words long. And the sentence will contain the spelling pattern as well as the high frequency words. So it's just an opportunity to see how well each student really is internalizing that spelling pattern. The sentence is graded so that each word is worth 1 point, and then a capital letter at the beginning is worth 1 point, and the punctuation mark at the end is worth 1 point. So you can see for the bonus sentence, or the sentence in the example here, this I said the pot is hot, that sentence is 6 words, and an extra point for the uppercase I and an extra point for the punctuation mark at the end makes that sentence worth 8 points. So all said and done, the spelling test tallied up together is the 10 spelling words plus the 8 sentence points is worth 18. But a student may get 20 out of 18 because of those 2 high frequency word bonus points. So that's kind of how spelling tests work in first grade. When we do not have school on Fridays, spelling tests are given on Thursdays. So even on short weeks, we do have spelling tests. Let's talk a little bit about Rocket Math. So Rocket Math is a timed math facts test. And we do this timed math facts test 3 days a week. When I say math facts test, what it is it's a sheet of paper, and on it are just math facts like 1 plus 2, 1 plus 1, 2 plus 3, 3 plus 1, that kind of thing. You'll notice these starting to come home in your Child's Friday folder pretty soon. We've already started taking our Rocket Math tests. So 3 days a week, we take our Rocket Math tests, and each student has a different number of problems that they must get right in order to pass and move on to the next level. So they have individualized goals. I was able to create those goals based on an assessment that I did the first week of school. Each student starts out Rocket Math on level A, and they will progress all the way through level Z. The first A test that they took was A addition. Once a student passes A addition by meeting his or her goal, he or she will move to A subtraction. Once A subtraction is passed, they will move to B addition and then B subtraction. So you can see that a student has to master addition and subtraction facts. We did that on purpose because we want students to understand how fact families work within addition and subtraction. Every week, we hope that our students pass 1 of their tests every week. So they take 3 and we hope that they pass 1. If a student passes 1, you'll see the grade entered as meeting their goal, which is a 4. If a student comes close to meeting their goal, but they don't quite pass, we still want to give them credit for that. And so that would be a grade of a 3. If they don't even come close to meeting their goal, they receive a grade of a 2. You can see down below on this slide that the first grade standard is that first graders are fluent with facts within 10. So what that means is that when you say to your student 5 plus 7, they should answer right away that the answer, or sorry, 5 plus 2. If you say to a student that the answer is, or the fact is 5 plus 2, they should say right away that the answer is 7. If a student is taking a long time to think or really having to count on their fingers, you really know that they're not fluent with that fact. And so we want our students to be able to have quick recall of their facts. I would say at flash speed. So as you're practicing math facts with your student at home, the goal is for them to be at flash speed, so answering within a couple seconds. I'd say flashcards work really, really well. You can get them at the dollar store, I believe, at Target, on Amazon, or you can have your student make their own flashcards using index cards. I think that's an awesome thing to do. Um, all right, we're going to move on and talk about homework. So kudos to you for all of you having your students bring their planners back every day. Thank you for signing their planners and for making sure that your students are reading and practicing their spelling and their math facts at home. Their AVID planner is part of our AVID elementary program. The purpose of the planner is to get the student to be responsible for the planner themselves. Once a student is in third grade, they will actually have a spiral bound planner that they write their homework in every single day. And so we really are giving our first graders planners because we want to start teaching them responsibility for their planner now. And the basic way that we do that is by having them write the title of their book that they're reading on their planner, and hopefully asking you to sign their planner. So I really recommend having a place every day when you get home. I really recommend having it be your student's responsibility to take the blue folder out of the backpack, have a certain place where the blue folder goes, really encouraging your child once they're able to write the title of the book on the planner by themselves and ask you to sign the planner at the end of homework. I think all of those things are just going to help set your student up for success later on. If you are really the one driving the planner the whole year, I think that defeats kind of the purpose. So I think maybe keep that in mind as we go along and set up some of those habits for your kiddo. Let's talk about grades a little bit. I hope everybody has an Infinite Campus account. And within that Infinite Campus account, you can have an awesome app on your phone called Campus Parent. I have one. I'm able to quickly get on my phone and check the grades that my students have. Even through that Campus Parent account, I can have it alert me if my student receives a grade below a certain level. And then that way I can check in with my kid and see what's happening, and I just find that really handy. If you do not have a Infinite Campus account, I really encourage you to get one. You can email our secretary, Paula, about that. I enter grades every week. So every content area, every week. So I will enter a grade for reading, writing, math, rocket math, spelling, and core knowledge every single week. And the idea behind that is that come the end of the trimester, parents should not be surprised at how their child is doing in first grade, or any grade level for that matter. If you are checking your child's grades consistently, maybe once a week or once every couple weeks, you'll have a general idea of how well they're performing in first grade, and won't be surprised at the end of a quarter when you know your child is either excelling or not doing so well. Spelling tests and math facts are not weighted grades. And what that means is they're not counted towards GPA, which does not make a big deal, which is not a big deal in first grade. However, once your child is in third grade at WCA, they can receive honor roll. And so the GPA then counts towards honor roll in third grade. And so it's not so important for you to know that in first grade, but it is more important as your child progresses in WCA. At the end of every quarter, your child will receive the following behavior grades. I participate, so how well they participate in class. And are they paying attention in class, or are they playing with their shoes, or talking to a friend, or rolling around on the carpet? Are we raising our hands, or are we talking with my partner? Am I talking when I am collaborating with my partner? I am productive means, am I able to get my work done when my teacher sends me back to my seat, or when my teacher gives me that independent work time? Am I doing what's expected of me, or am I only working when my teacher is standing right next to me? That kind of thing. And finishing my work in the amount of time. I am prepared means, am I bringing things to the lesson that my teacher is asking me to bring? Or am I bringing my planner to school every day so that my teacher can check it? So oftentimes I will ask the kids to come to the Rug for Learning, and I will ask them to bring certain materials like a whiteboard or a certain pencil or something along those lines. And so when I give that direction, if a student is prepared and ready for learning, then they're going to bring those things when they're asked. And then demonstrating positive classroom behavior ties into the 8 keys of excellence. And am I speaking with good purpose and using kind words and helping friends and just being a basic good role model for others within the class. All right, we celebrate birthdays in first grade. Birthdays are a huge deal. I'm happy to have birthday celebrations, but just please, please let me know in advance. I work really hard on my planning, and it's really, really hard when I have no idea and a student comes to me and says, it's my birthday today, and then they have all of these birthday treats, and all of a sudden I have to work in a celebration at the end of the day. That just means that something that I had planned on gets pushed back. So I really, really, if you just appreciate an email, a week in advance or even a couple days in advance is really helpful. And that way I'm just not surprised at the last minute. We do our quick celebration at 2:45, so it's about a 10-minute celebration. Treats must be store-bought, as usual. They must be nut-free, as usual, and we do have a nut allergy in our classroom this year, so we need nut-free snacks. Please, please do not bring ice cream or popsicles or anything that requires refrigeration. I just don't have the ability to run to the freezer to grab the treat. So it would really help me out if it did not require refrigeration. And this year, all of our treats must be individually packaged. So if you are choosing Oreos, please get the small snack-sized individual packs of Oreos. Or if you're choosing chips, maybe, the small 100-calorie packs or something along those lines. If you're struggling to find something that is nut-free and individually packaged, I'd say the dollar store is a fantastic option. And you could put together a little baggie of supplies or even a pencil or lots of times tiny little toys from the dollar store make great treats, and the kids love those so much. So they're really just as good as a food snack. And summer birthdays, if we are still in-person learning, which I hope we are, summer birthdays will be celebrated in May. Okay, I know that your volunteering, your volunteering requirements have been waived this year due to COVID, but there are still lots of ways for you to help in the class, and I really can still use your help. I will be emailing for any projects that I can use help with from home. For example, some parents are already making some salt dough for one of our projects, and so that's fantastic. We will still be doing core knowledge celebrations. They just won't be the huge big deal that they've been in the past. They're just going to be contained within our classroom. But I will be asking for donations. For example, when we learned about ancient Egypt last year, one of the projects we did was the students made sugar cube pyramids. And so asking parents for things like please donating the sugar cubes or the glue to glue them together, stuff like that is still really helpful. Once I start sending home Scholastic book flyers, I'll send out an email asking parents to help assemble those flyers. And just so that you know in the future, anytime you donate an item to the classroom, you get for $10, for every $10 you donate to the classroom, that equals 1 volunteer hour. That doesn't matter so much this year since you're not logging volunteer hours, but in the future, every time you donate to the classroom, you do get a volunteer hour for that. So those add up. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about remote learning and what you can expect. It's very possible that at some time during this year, our class could go into a quarantine situation. That could mean somebody is displaying coronavirus symptoms, or maybe there is a test with results that are pending. For whatever the situation is, I am assuming you would receive communication from the school. That could look like an email or maybe even an automated phone call. In the case that that happens, I will provide, well, at first, when we first go into quarantine, I'll back up, students will receive a 5-day packet of work. And we will be sending that home actually in the next couple of days. I want you to have that in your hands because we could go into quarantine at any time. We could get the phone call at 8 o'clock at night that the next day your student will be doing remote learning. And so teachers are putting together packets of work that last 5 days, and that's where we'll start. If we go past a 5-day quarantine, then I would start by preparing you with access to our learning platforms such as Seesaw or Pearson or Epic. And so I would make sure I could get that login information to you. If we do go past that 5-day period, on day 6, we would start synchronous learning during school hours. And I think we would start at 8:15 in the morning and basically go until about 1 in the afternoon. And so that's a lot of screen time for your kiddo. But basically I would be just teaching live lessons and expecting your child to sit in front of the computer and pay attention during the lessons and then complete work while I'm sitting there watching. And then we would work on different ways to share our work and things along those lines. As far as our core knowledge, science and social studies units are concerned, expect for me to teach maybe one kind of anchor lesson about what it is we're learning and then put together a menu of activities that your child would then choose from to complete on their own. I just ask for your flexibility as we figure things out. This is obviously brand new for all of us, and I know I've never taught synchronously over the computer before, and so please, I promise to be patient. If you promise to be patient with me, and we'll all be patient together, and I think I just ask for that, and we'll just smile and do our best and get through it. All right, I'd just kind of like to do a quick tutorial of my website for you so that you can see how to get to the newsletter. The link, here we go, to my website can be found through our WCA homepage. You can see that it's windsorcharteracademy.org/Nolting. Okay. Once you are on my homepage, you'll see these icons at the top. You can click on the email icon to shoot me a quick email, access Zoom right here with our virtual classroom. This is where you'll be able to access the login for Seesaw once you have it. Then when you scroll down, you'll see this Google slide, and this is my actual website. It says Ms. Nolting Class. Down here at the bottom, it says click through for more information. And so I'm going to click through this arrow and it'll bring me to the next page with a little welcome message. And then on page 3 or slide number 3 is actually where my newsletter starts. So every week I will have the spelling words and the sight words, which are the high frequency words we talked about at the spelling test. So if you are having a hard time reading your students' handwriting on their planner, and you're not sure what the spelling words are, this is where you can go to check the spelling words. The special schedule is also always posted because I find that it's nice for you to know when we have PE so that you can make sure your student is wearing tennis shoes and has a water bottle. It's also nice for you to know when we have library so that you can make sure that library books are returned. I have a section for important dates because that's always nice. I want you to know what we're learning in the upcoming week. Just a little some more important information. And then down here on the bottom, I always like to throw in a little bit about what we did so that you can have a little dinner table conversation with your child. If your child is anything like mine, they don't necessarily volunteer information readily. And so it's just nice to have this kind of knowledge so that you can ask questions about their day or their week. If you keep clicking through my slides, you'll just see some more general information. about a lot of the stuff that we're covering right now during our virtual parent information night. Some notes from the office, this for classroom volunteers, and then a few learning resources. Okay, let's see here. We'll go, uh-oh, it's not letting me. There we go. We'll go back to my parent information. And that's it. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. I know that's a lot of information and I covered it very quickly. If you have an iPhone and you would like to scan this QR code, you can quickly bookmark my classroom website that way. That way you can check the newsletter easily. But I really do appreciate your investment in your child's information and you taking the time to watch this video. Please know that my virtual door is always open and don't hesitate to ever contact me with questions or concerns. Your children are just wonderful and I am happy to talk with you about your child anytime. Thanks again so much for joining me tonight.